what we feel most compelled to be of service, to teach, is actually what we need to learn the most. People who are struggling are the ones who are bluffing. So it's often the people that have to show off success that really don't have it. Here's an experience or a technique we can do to find this. I call it a lifeline. And what a lifeline is,
so many business owners, our first go-to thought, our first belief is, if I am not clean in this area, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Here's the problem. When I see someone on a pedestal, that means I see myself in an inferior position. That triggers a very dangerous situation called envy. They're better than me. I'm not as good as them. Therefore, the only way to resolve envy is by pulling them down. They don't deserve it. Their family was wealthy. The most successful people have no compulsion to show that off.
Hello, game changers. Welcome to another episode of Mastery Live with Self Mastery Academy. Today, we have a powerhouse guest who is about to shift the way you approach your business and your life, okay? You've heard of Profit First, Clockwork, Fix This Next. Well, the New York Times bestselling author behind these books, Michalowicz, joined us and dropped straight fire, okay? We're going to be talking about things that will make you rethink everything, like why superheroes suck, why you got to cook in your business before you can eat from your business, how to break out of ego addiction and what that is, and the one mindset shift that crushes imposter syndrome so that you are able to lead and serve without holding yourself back. Y'all, Mike's advice in this episode, it was not just about running a business. It was about creating systems that make success sustainable in your life, every area. So if you've been feeling stuck, you've been feeling overwhelmed, or you just know there's got to be more to your leadership, get yourself a notebook, get yourself a pen, and let's get into it.
Oh my gosh, Toyin, what an introduction. I want you to do my hype reel in the future. You're amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much. It's a joy to be here with you this evening. And all of us.
Yes. I'm so amped for this episode, Mike, because this episode is like a little bit personal, as well as we're going to be sharing with the whole world, you know, all the things that we want to share. But I just wanted to give you some context to why I actually invited you on this show as our first guest in Mastery Live. It's because as I was building my business, when I first got started, I read Clockwork. And this was a season in my business where I was doing everything and I was proud to be doing everything. I was like, look at me, Mrs. Fix It. And then I read your book, Clockwork, and it was like a slap. Yeah, it was like, wait, girl, this is not business. You need to be a leader in business and empower other people and create systems and processes so that you don't need to be there. And you gave this homework where you were like, you got to take a vacation for a full week. I think it was like every 4 weeks or something. I was like, I can't do every 4, but I did every 6.
Okay,
and it really matured my business. Then, and I was like, okay, I like this. And then someone else recommends Profit First. And I read that. And I noticed it was the same guy. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I'm paying attention. And helped me to restructure my finance in the business so that, you know, one of the biggest challenges people have in businesses is fluctuating income. And that was like a concern of mine was, yeah, we've made millions of dollars, but I don't want to be a story. I don't want to be a statistic where you make all this money, you got nothing to show for it. I know what it's like to have nothing. I'm not trying to go back to where I started. And Profit First really created that transformation as well. So there's so many examples. And then I read I started implementing a process of bottlenecks. And then a client actually said, Toyin, like everything you're teaching, the way that you're teaching us to structure our businesses, have you read Fix This Next? And then I read it and I was like, He's in my brain. So I just want to say that it is a personal honor for me that you accepted our invitation and that you are here right now.
It's a joy, and I'm honored you've read the books. Honestly, books are recipes, and
Yes.
you're the chef, right? You're the one who has to cook them up. And to see an entrepreneur like yourself make such a transition in your life is extraordinary. So congratulations to the execution of some ideas.
Yes. Okay.
Impressed.
So those of you guys listening to this podcast, I just want you to be aware that a lot of the time when we listen to podcasts or trainings, we're waiting for the moment where the questions are asked and the nuggets are dropped. But I want you guys to pay attention to what is being said without a question, because something that Mike already said that I want y'all to hear is he said, way to go on the execution of the recipe. Like, you are the chef. So you could listen to all the books. You could read all the books, because I listen to books, right? You could read all the books. You can listen to all the podcasts. You can watch all the YouTube videos, but they're beautiful and amazing recipes. And if you're not actually cooking, you don't got food. There's no food there. So thank you for that. I received that. I really do.
Yeah, I'm happy you did. You know, it's interesting. There are some folks, and I'm guilty as accused, of going into this analysis paralysis where we're in this constant learning. And what's so interesting about learning is it's an escape from doing. So I've seen entrepreneurs, and I've lived it too, saying, well, I'm not ready yet. I need to learn more. It actually defers the work. And we feel justified, right? But I'm learning more. I'm getting better. You really don't get better until you apply. You have to go through the experience.
And what I find is that it's because when you learn, you're safe. Everything.
That's right.
You can learn forever and be the smartest person in the room. You can learn forever and you never make any mistakes when you learn, because you're just learning, right? So when you learn, you're in this place of safety. But when you do, you actually come face to face with whatever resistance, whatever fear of failure, fear of success, whatever mindsets that kind of keep us holding back from that place that we say we want, but we hold back from. It's when we do that we have to actually come face to face with it. One of the things I remember hearing someone say is that two things that are the fastest track for self-development is business and marriage. Because
yeah, true. Especially at the same time. My God.
Yes, exactly. You just get to grow, but it's in the implementation that you actually come face to face with growth. And what I love about implementation is making mistakes. So for you, I'll ask you this question. Let's get into it, right?
Yeah. Let's do it.
In those moments, because I just want to start with this topic right here. You're someone who has executed on massive levels and impacted millions of people. You've written these books. You've done the business. You didn't start off just writing the books. You started off doing the work, and then you wrote the books about your experience. What, in those moments where you feel yourself wanting to hold back, wanting to hesitate, what helps you break out of analysis paralysis and actually just hit the finish line? Like Seth Godin says, ship the material.
Oh yeah, right. Just ship it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll give you a hack that I use. This is my home office. I also have an office in the town next door to this, and I'll do it here. I actually don't know why I haven't. I have a picture of myself. I use an AI system, and I said, age me 30 years. I think I'm going to be done working completely by then. And I have this picture of myself 30 years older. Ironically, I have a full head of hair, which I'm like, okay, AI. I don't know about that.
Did it give you like full color in your hair?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, no Botox in this face? No, that's not real. But what I do is every morning I walk in and I look at the picture and I say, are you grateful for what I did yesterday? And if my future self looks back at me and says, you were just studying, you weren't executing, you delayed a hard decision, you put off that exercise, I'm going to get shamed by myself. But when I come in and said, thanks for doing that workout that you didn't want to do. Thank you for making that difficult phone call you had to make. Thank you for trying something out, just shipping it, even though you weren't fully sure if it was going to work. I want that guy thanking me every time. And I know if I get more thank yous than disappointment, I'm on the right track. So that's my little hack.
That's so powerful, because I think one of the reasons that we often put things off is because we don't think about the fact that time is passing. Whether we like it or not, our future self, we're becoming our future self, and the decisions that we're making today are either taking us closer to the picture of our future self that we say that we want, or it's just not. And I love this hack because I've never thought of doing that. I'm afraid to ask AI.
Well, you trust me, you'll look amazing. You will look amazing. But you can also tell I, like, hey, could you just, make me look like the perfect me,
Yeah. But I think this is a really, really fantastic hack. Yeah. So remember, I'm going somewhere, and the decisions that I make today are going to impact where I get in the future. Okay. For you, so what I want to do is I want to ask you some questions related to business, just because your brain on business is amazing. When it comes to one of the top things I've seen business owners do, you talked about ego addiction in one of your, I don't know where you were, but I track you and I follow you. And in one of your speeches, you had mentioned this ego addiction that causes a lot of business owners and even career professionals as well to do too much, thinking that we're proving a point. Can you just talk a little bit about this principle of ego addiction and how it impacts us in business or in our life?
Sure. Yeah. Also, maybe I'll start with the life overall, how I see us express it. And I lived this until my ego kind of got ripped out of me. So I like to play poker with some friends. And what I noticed is there's an interesting phenomena that happens. We're playing a card game and you have a strong set of cards in your hand and I have a weak set. You and I will behave differently. You will actually play softly. You'll say, well, I don't know if I should stay in the game. Because when you have a strong hand, it's to your advantage for everyone else to keep playing because you're the winner.
You're going to win.
Yeah, the winner plays softly. Ironically, it's the person with the losing hand who bluffs. I don't know why you're staying in the game, Toyin. You should leave. Give me your money. What I found in life, the people who are struggling are the ones who are bluffing. So it's often the people that have to show off success that really don't have it. And guilty is charged. I built a business, sold it, and thought I was God's gift to the world. And I was not doing well financially, but I thought I had the formula. And I better start showing off with the big house, the fancy cars, all that stuff. And I lost it all. And I'm grateful, not then, but in retrospect, because it was a learning experience.
Right.
If I feel compelled to bluff, I'm trying to fill in something that's not there. So that's the life lesson.
Yeah.
The most successful people have no compulsion to show that off, is what I've discovered.
Listen, oh my gosh, I got to say something about this because when there was one pivotal month in our lives where we could not pay for rent and it was like the bottom of the bottom. I had to email friends and family. Like this was just like in your face struggle.
Yeah.
And that month was the first time I was openly exposed to just being in a room of hectomillionaires. And I remember that was one of the top things I noticed about them versus me. And it wasn't even like I wasn't in the room trying to like verbally prove anything. But I had this thing inside of me of like, you need to prove yourself.
Yes.
And then I remember being in that room and they were so nonchalant. Like they were just so chill and relaxed about money, about success. Like they're living it. They were running these $400 million global companies, But like, it's like Joe Blow, they had nothing to try to prove. And I remember that just being like one of the things that I actually took away as Toyin. You need to learn how to get detached from the desperation or desire for success or money or looking a certain way, because it doesn't look like that when you get there.
Oh, that's so wise of you. To realize that. And what I found too is success is not money, it's not health. Those are all expressions of an inner success, and it's alignment with purpose. Actually, let me show you. I got this camera cut here. This here is my life's purpose, to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. And I have that in my office here. I also have that in my other office. I have it everywhere as a reminder of if I'll never satisfy that fully. So many entrepreneurs struggle. But if every day I devote my life to serving that for others, that's my success. And the money, the health, all those things are elements and wonderful, but it starts there in alignment with purpose. I will also tell you another deep secret. What we feel most compelled to be of service, to teach, is actually what we need to learn the most. I struggled with entrepreneur. I am not a great entrepreneur, but I aspire to be. I've struggled with entrepreneurship, but I want to get better. And I realize the more I teach it, the better I am. True story. I was doing a presentation at a university. A friend of mine wanted to tag along. It was a school he wanted to visit, and he came with me for the ride. And we're walking down the hallway, like to a lecture hall, past classrooms in this famous university. And we walk by a classroom, and his name is JB. He goes, there's the smartest student in the room. And I wasn't paying attention. My mind wasn't there. Next classroom, he's like, there's a smart student. By the third time he did this, I'm like, dude, what? Who's the smartest student? He goes, well, tell me. I said, it's the kid up front. It's the one taking the most notes. He goes, nope. The smartest student is the teacher, the professor. She is up there. She is up there. And the more she teaches, the more she has to be aware.
Yes.
So I want you to be aware of that. All that said, I got to get to the question you asked is this ego component. How does it kind of choke us out in our own business?
Hold on. There's nuggets here because people are in the chat. So those of y'all listening to the podcast, so people are in the chat like value. This is value. Okay, before we talk about ego in business, because you just dropped some bombs that I want to unpack two specific things that you just said. The first thing that I want to unpack is I don't know if y'all noticed that Mike had the exact opposite. So we coach a lot of business owners in scaling their businesses. Yeah. And there's one mindset that is very prevalent, and you have the exact opposite of that mindset. And I want to highlight it. It's this. You said, I train in business, and the way that you're aware of your purpose is that this is an area where you are learning yourself, and so you're teaching it so you can get better at it. Right. And the mindset that I hear a lot of business owners have is, because I'm not perfect at it, I'm not allowed to teach it. I'm not qualified yet because it's not perfect. And I'm not talking like you have your expertise, you have results, you've gotten whatever things you need to get in it, like, written down or done or whatever. But so many business owners, our first go-to thought, our first belief is, if I am not clean in this area, I'm not allowed to talk about it. Whereas your perspective is, listen, that's why I talk about it, because
you must talk about it. If you're not clean in an area, you are called to talk about it. You see, we're all here to resolve a journey for ourselves. I believe it's a divine calling we have. And if you have a curiosity, a desire, a thirst to learn or to resolve something, here's an experience or a technique we can do to find this. I call it a lifeline. And what a lifeline is you can draw out over a time period. So I'm 53. I know you're looking at me like, he's 52.
Shocking. Absolutely not.
I'm 53. So 53. What you can do is look at your life. I do it in 5-year increments. So from 0 to 5, what was my life like? 5 to 10, 10, 15, all the way to 53. And what I noticed is there are some really difficult, struggling, dark periods. There's other periods that are full of light and celebratory. But then I look at each of these elements. I say, what did I learn during these periods? What did I feel called to do? As a kid, I was picked on, made fun of. I was the skinny kid. But while that was painful, I also realized that there's a community of us who are the rejects that don't fit in. We're the entrepreneurs who don't make it. So I'm like, the rejects, I'm a weirdo. We're weirdos. I love weirdos and rejects. That's us. So I found my community. Then I went through an experience of deep financial struggle. While I was never homeless, I lost my home
Hmm.
because of what I didn't understand around finances. And I circled that and I look back, I said, oh, that is a calling to learn finances. So our life,
Come on.
our life has set us up with
Oh,
sometimes gifts wrapped in the worst wrapping paper on the planet. But
right.
our life has given us these gifts, and we can choose to say, this will define me and I'll struggle, or this will raise me up to be of service. And
Hmm.
I chose the path. Like, what am I going to do with this knowledge I have now and this calling and this compulsion? And I said, well, it's to find the solution for financial struggle. It's to find the solution for workaholism. It's find the solutions of things I struggled with. And as I discovered them, I decided to codify it in a book. That was
Yes.
my product. But it doesn't matter what your product is. You could do it through coaching services. You could do it
Yes.
through manufacturing. It doesn't matter. But I found a vehicle to deliver it to others. And
Yes.
and ultimately, you, Toyin, me, all of us, when we do what we're called to do,
Hmm.
our purpose, we become unstoppable.
Right.
I'm not going to be perfect. There's alternatives that are amazing. I just know that because this is my calling, this is my definition of success. I'll keep serving it, and the elements around it will present themselves: finances, health, family, relationships, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
that's the core. And I keep pointing there because that's where the
Because it's
sign
the
is.
eradicate
But
entrepreneurial poverty.
right,
Come
that's
on,
the
we
core.
know. We follow it. We follow it.
You're with me. You're with me. Whoops, wrong button. You just looked at my bills. I have to get my dog license in. So there you go.
The chat is blowing up, guys. I know those of y'all listening to the podcast are actually probably going like, boof, boof, boof. Oh my God, this is mind blowing. The chat's like, believes. Yes, so true, so true. Fire. Wow. My goodness. I'm so glad I jumped on this call. If you're not clean in an area, you are called to talk about it. Jamita said, listen, okay. Okay. This is powerful. There's something else that you just referenced, and it's like you're helping me. You're just laying up my questions right now. You literally just ended with that reference again to what you have on your wall: eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. And one thing you've said twice now is that when you can find that purpose and live in that space, live in your lane and give yourself to it, you are like all the other pieces begin to figure themselves out around it.
Yeah.
What helped you to distill it? I know, of course, it's a very long process that you likely wouldn't be able to share in a few minutes, but what were some of the most impactful ways you were able to distill the many gifts that you have, the talents that you have, this life, what did you call it? The life
journey. Oh, the lifeline.
Yes, the lifeline.
Yeah.
I just want to say, y'all, I already wrote it down for myself as homework to do right after this. I know what my thing is, but I'm going to do this lifeline because I want to see it in action.
Yeah.
But I want to drop this so that if you're listening, please don't miss that. This is your homework from this episode, is go and do your own lifeline so you can see what is the thread, what are the gains that I made in every 5-year part of my journey. But for you, Mike, what made it so clear my calling is to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty, and how did you distill it so clearly?
Yeah. So it didn't start off that way. And rarely do we wake up the next morning or after we do an exercise like a lifeline and say, oh, I've got it. Thank you. More often, it's a jumble of thoughts and ideas, but at least you're in the sandbox now and we can start building that castle. So for me, I always loved reading books. What we like to consume is often what we like to share. So just observe in your own behavior, what do you like? The second thing is what frustrates you. Here's the deal. As we go through life's journeys, we look at what we like and we look at what frustrates us. I love to read business books. I love to read all types of books. But I also realized I wasn't finding many books where the author was an arm over my shoulder, like a friend. More of them were like these experts on a pedestal.
Right.
And I'm like, here's the problem. When I see someone on a pedestal, that means I see myself in an inferior position. That triggers a very dangerous situation called envy. They're better than me. I'm not as good as them. Therefore, the only way to resolve envy is by pulling them down. They don't deserve it. Their family was wealthy. Selling drugs.
It was
That's how they make their living.
Right.
Envy we pull down. Now, just as dangerous is pity. Pity is like, oh, Thank God that's not me. And we trigger avoidance. I don't want that life circumstance. What we
Mm.
need to do is have people who are on equals. We're brothers and sisters. So I said,
Right.
there's not many books out there in the business space that are like that. And I said, that's what frustrates me. That's what I feel compelled to do.
Wow.
Experimenting, try things out. I did other things. I did consulting work. I've done other things where it was okay. I could maybe earn some income, but it didn't fulfill me. But when I started writing books, I'm like, this is amazing. Now, I also believe there's a grand test coming all of our way. I was writing books. And I'm like, I love this. I get so much joy from it, but I wasn't making money. I think that's a divine test saying, how badly do you want this? Are you willing to prove that you're willing to go through the dark periods and the struggles to see to the other end without any guarantee? I've been very fortunate as an author, but many authors don't make it. But I said, I'm willing to do this regardless of the outcome because I feel so much joy in it. And if it's not successful, I'll find another path to generate sources of income. But gosh, I'm going to keep writing. And over time, my first book was okay. My second book was very well. And my third one was a flop. It was not a perfect journey. But all of a sudden, I shouldn't say all of a sudden.
Momentum.
All of a sudden, after 15 years, I started to get serious traction.
Right.
Yeah.
I almost forgot, but you just said it, so I'm gonna remember. Congratulations on your most recent book deal.
Oh, thank you. That manuscript is due Monday. I literally got 2 more days before the manuscript is turned in.
Come on.
Yeah,
it was so exciting. When you did that video where you were like, hey y'all, you're gonna be with me and we're gonna sign this deal together.
Yeah.
You hit it. I was like, yes, Mike, let's go. I'm not gonna ask you what it's about because I know it's not okay. Can we know what it's about?
I can't publicly share because the title is still pending. I'm still negotiating with the publisher. I have 2 title choices. The second I know, I'll announce it.
We're so ready. Oh man, someone said in the chat, Charles just said, this is such a blessing. This is one of the only authors that I own everything they have written.
Charles, you complete me, Charles. You complete me. Thank you, brother.
Y'all. Man, okay, he said, congratulations, you have 1 sale no matter what this book is about. I think you have a little bit more than one.
Well, my mother's going to buy one, so now we got 2. So there we go.
You know, something you talked about that it's so interesting because I was talking to Richard Branson and it was the same thing he said, where I had asked him what was the reason for you building all these different companies that you created. And for every single one of them, I was expecting him to tell me something grand and like, you know, this thing happened and then it opened my eyes or whatever. And he's like, yeah, no, I booked the flight and I hated the experience. So I said, we could do this better. Then I took a cruise and I didn't like that. And I said, we could do that better. And it was just like the very things you're talking about, which is what are you and what do you find yourself consumed by? What do you find yourself super irritated by? And then what can you do to either be a part of that or be a solution to that thing?
Correct. And one more thing, and it goes back to your earlier question, the ego in our business. We have to avoid what's called the superhero syndrome. And all of us fall in this trap, particularly because it's necessary in the beginning. So a quick little case study. Actually, if you're in the chat, tell me who your favorite superhero is. Mine's Spider-Man. My wife is Black Panther. When he takes his shirt off, my wife says, yeah, I know.
So we see Superman,
Wonder Woman. Yeah, these are all awesome. So whoever your favorite superhero is, I will tell you, they are a problem. This is the crazy part. Think about Wonder Woman. That movie 1984 they had with Wonder Woman. Yeah, she kills the villain or whatever, but she destroys a whole city in the process. Batman, Gotham, the commissioner is dependent. Literally, the Joker's coming to town, and the police force has to call the superhero. So how does this play out in our business? In your business, if you're the superhero, it means you're swooping in to save the day. But your team, and we all have teams. I don't care if you have employees, part-time or full-time. If you have vendors, that's your team. If you have contractors, that's your team. What do? Instead of building systems for them to follow, we swoop in and save the day. But we destroy the business in the process because it becomes dependent upon us. Gotham City can't defend itself because Batman keeps saving the day. Now, here's the deal. Here, I know what's going on in people's brain. Like, well, I perform excellently. The company without me performs here. We need to be here. So I'm going to swoop in and save the day and pull the company up. Stop doing it. Here's what you do. Leave your organization so you can find the homeostasis where it naturally falls, which may not be your standard, but see where your business is. Your job is not to swoop in and pull it up. Your job is now to build a foundation below so you can elevate the company, build structure, empowerment of your colleagues. And you do it by removing yourself. Don't be a superhero, be a super visionary.
Woo!
I started preaching there. I was getting a little fired up.
My gosh, that was a preach. That was a preach. That was a preach right there. Okay. I hope y'all caught what he just said. He said, instead, the chat is blowing up. Don't be a superhero, be a super visionary. Everybody's like, be a super visionary. Mic drop. Okay, so I really just want to emphasize what you just said, because that was it, of where we get into this syndrome of I want to come in and save the day every time in my company, but let the company find where it is. And then you start building the systems and empowering the people so that they can, like, the company itself begins to grow and multiply, but it's through the team and not just you all the time. I've never thought of superheroes in that way ever. Yeah. But as soon as
they all suck. Yeah. Except for Black Panther. Apparently he's a god.
Oh
Apparently Black Panther.
I don't know how people will enjoy, like, some people will be like, I'll never listen to this podcast. How dare you come after Iron Man or Wonder Woman?
Iron Man's a jerk. Listen, he saves the moment. He destroys the city in the process. And what we do is we disempower our colleagues, our team. We say, you're not really capable. We will say it verbally, like, I believe you, I trust you, but we'll demonstrate that we don't.
Actions.
Right. Our actions speak the truth. Now, here's the deal. What I do, and I encourage every business owner to do, is I take a 4-week vacation, 4 consecutive weeks. Now, if this sounds terrifying to you, that's the first indicator you have a business that's not functioning optimally. But every year, December 7th to January 7th, so I ended this past week, I take off from my business. The business still operates. I don't put a notice out like, on vacation in my email. The business has to operate without me. And so I have one colleague even changed the email password so I can't get into my own email. So I can't interrupt.
Even if you were tempted, you couldn't get in there.
I can't. Woo! I came back. Now I do a small team. We have a physical office here. There's 8 people at the core office. And I come back. This is the first time I did it. It was like 7 years ago. I come back to the office. And I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how badly do you need me back? Like, 1, stop talking, start working. We're in trouble. 10, we never need to see you again. They give me a 9.9. They said, Mike, we don't need you. We love you, but we don't need you here. Do what gives you joy because we feel empowered. I never expected that. I thought if I left and they're working, I'm on the beach drinking Coronas. They're working their tails off for me. But I realized the reality is I trust them with the keys to the kingdom. I'm saying you are the police force that can run this thing. They elevated the business. And it wasn't perfect. I didn't come back and like, oh, magically the business was better. There was problems. But then the problems we had was the systems I had to work on. That gave me purpose inside the business.
Dang. That one touched a nerve for me. Ooh, that one touched a nerve for me. That 4-week, the 4-week test.
4 week. So I here's the big challenge, Toyin, is 1 year from today.
Yes.
4-week vacation in your calendar. You tell your whole community, you tell your family, say, I'm leaving.
Okay.
And what most people experience is the heart starts racing.
I'm like physically sweating right now.
That's a great sign. That's a great sign because that's your intuition saying the business isn't ready. But now you got 12 months to get it ready.
Yes.
And like I said, it won't be perfect. You'll do your best job. And when you get back, there will be mistakes and problems, but you'll experience 2 things. One is you'll find out what's the problem, and you'll find out the best form of delegation is trusting others. One last little story. One of the best plays or musicals of all time is Hamilton. Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't know if you know this. That play came out of his first ever 4-week vacation. His wife, he wrote a thing called In the Heights, another musical, and he was working, 18-hour days or something. His wife said, this relationship's not going to continue. We're going on vacation. And she said, we're leaving. She mandated a 4-week vacation. During that 4-week vacation, the biggest miracle happened. Our minds expanded from doing to designing. He had the freedom just to think. And that's where he created the idea of Hamilton.
Wow.
And Lin-Manuel now says to people, he says, if you're not taking a 4-week vacation, you're damaging your potential. That's why we need people.
Gosh. So this is so interesting because I've done episodes on taking a solitude retreat. I take 3 days off every month. I talk about this stuff and I tell people it changes your life when you take these 3 days off. And then like the most I'll do is at the beginning of the year, I'll take 7 days off. And I've seen it change my life. It's where I've gotten like my best life transformative ideas have come out of these times away. So when you're saying this, I'm like, ooh, this is like multiplied freedom for your brain to think and create.
Exactly.
And you can trust.
There's something special about the 4 weeks. Most businesses, every element of the business is touched. Invoices have to go out.
4-week cycle.
Yes, 4-week cycles. And that's why we do it. When we leave for 4 weeks, every part of the business is going to be activated. If we do these short stints, I've done what's called a cram and scramble. A cram and scramble is this. The week before I'm leaving, I'm crunching as much work as possible so I can afford some freedom for 1 week. So I cram stuff in. Then when I get back, it's a scramble to recover.
Cram back. Yes.
Yeah, that's not a business that's operating itself. I'm gaming time here. A 4-week does not allow you to do that.
Come on. Okay, I got so much to say, but I wanna open it up. And what we're gonna do is we've got two. I think it's 2 people in the hot seat today. The first person was actually the first person to step into our Limitless Life Lab, and she's got a question for you. So Felicia, why don't you join the picture? Here we go. And unmute yourself. And I want to open up the floor for you to go ahead and ask Mike your question.
Absolutely. Wow. I'm literally blown away by this. I'm like,
thank you. It's good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you as well. I feel like you've spoken into, I had 2 questions that I've been trying to figure out which one to ask, and you've kind of spoken into both of them. Oh man. I think the one that is probably the biggest on my mind right now is like, how do you empower people? Like I have a team of contractors in my practice, and I've been telling them, you got to market yourselves. You got to because I personally don't have a problem finding clients for myself, but I do find that as I've grown to a group practice within the last few months, they're just petrified to do it for themselves. And the struggle is real because they're not marketing themselves. Then obviously I'm carrying the practice right now. So how do I actually inspire people? I don't want to be that superhero that swoops in and to save the day. I want to be that visionary, but how do I do it?
Yeah. Such a great question, Felicia. So there's a couple things that come to mind, and this isn't the whole suite of solutions, but I bet you this will activate change. Yes. Most business owners assign tasks. Here's what you got to do. You got to go out and market. You got to go out and sell. Great leaders assign outcomes. And there's a subtle but significant difference. A task is an executed script. I expect you to do X, Y, and then Z. An outcome is agreed upon achievement. And what happens is co-creation. There's a psychological phenomenon that if you and I come up with an idea together, we are far more likely to achieve it than if you said, Mike, here's the idea that we need to achieve, because I'm disassociated, or vice versa. If I say, Felicia, I got this great vision that we're going to do, they're doing it my way. So we want to create co-creation, a true partnership. And many business owners don't do that. We actually give them the idea. And so there's natural resistance. Listen, if you said, Mike, look at the way you dress, like wearing a flannel shirt, like I'll give you a little tip, Mike, dress better. That may be the best advice I've heard in a long time, honestly. But my inherent resistance is, Felicia, who are you to tell me? And so my mind is saying no, but my face is like, yes. That's what we're doing. So outcomes is agreed upon achievement. And so how I do it with the team is say, hey, I want you to be successful. And I know you want to be successful. What do you see it happening or playing out as being successful? And then you give some thoughts and you co-create it. And then say, well, what's the path you want to take to get there? And does that make sense? And let's have a dialogue. So invite them in to do that. The second thing is we all have purpose, pointing back to my sign. Why is this important is just as important as doing it. So what we need to investigate is, why is this important to you? A lot of people say, I just need to make money. Well, we all need to make money. What's the significance of money for you? Well, I need shelter. I need a roof over my head, and my family's struggling. Okay, so we need to achieve a certain outcome so that we can protect your family, and that's the real thing we're looking to achieve here. Or maybe it's it's proven to my family that they were wrong about me, and I can achieve X, Y, Z. Okay, we want to get to the essence of that, and that takes time. People don't just volunteer the struggles or experience they have in their life. It comes out of trust and dialogue over time, but you can explore that. I would start with agreed upon outcomes, and I would explore the reason behind why it's important to them. And I think that will start enacting change, empowerment for them in a big way.
Oh, that's so helpful.
That's powerful. Thank you, Felicia. That was actually such a powerful question. That I know so many, so many business owners are like, we're always with this mindset of trying to get somebody to do what we are telling them to do. And it creates this resistance. I remember seeing a video where someone was trying to like push someone or pull someone to the next place. Yeah. And it was like, if you come up behind them and you just walk with them, like it's a conversation. What are you looking for? It's more conversation, and it leads them where they want to go, which is where you want to go as well. Anyway, like it's a shared outcome.
I got another little tip. Felicia, I hope you have a bomb shelter nearby because your head's about to explode.
I'm ready.
All right, get ready for this. Most business owners have been told, set a corporate vision. That is the biggest mistake we make. Do not set a corporate vision, set a collective vision. Now, let me explain the difference. Corporate vision is, hey, I want my business to be $1 million. We're going to be the number one player in the industry. Is everyone on board? No, that's my ego saying that. That's a big deal to me. I can go running home to my family and say, look what I've done. But my colleagues, when I asked what's important in your life, it wasn't Mike's business. Amy from our office was fighting cancer. She said, I want to be cancer-free for 5 years. Another person was looking to play guitar. Another person was looking to move out of the country to live a new life in Spain. Once I understood what everyone's individual vision was, I realized, oh, my job as a supervisionary is not saying, here's where we're moving to in the corporation. My job is to say, how do we accomplish all of these things by moving the corporation to where I want it to be? How do I make sure that you get to Spain? And listen, this is not Make-A-Wish Foundation. I can't cure cancer, and I can't send someone to Spain, but I can keep that dream in front of them. I can care for it. It can be important to me. And when their dreams are important to me, reciprocity kicks in. My dream or vision is important to them. So what's the collective vision? Know your colleagues and their dreams, and they'll care more about yours than ever before.
Oh, so good.
All right, go to the bomb shelter quickly, Felicia. Quickly.
There you go. The whole chat. People be like, wow. Okay, so I have one last question because I really want to honor your time, Mike. I have one last question for you for this episode. And it is this. This is a question that we are asking every single person that joins us. What is one mistake or failure that taught you something that today you consider priceless?
Okay. So, I mean, there's countless, but one mistake is believing my gut is always right. Now, here's what I've been told. Like, our instinct, our gut is the best way to run a business. I found, for me, it's not. Here's what my gut is amazing at. Self-preservation. So if you and I, Torian, we say, hey, let's go out and have a cup of coffee together, and we decide to go down an alley, and all of a sudden we're both like, this doesn't feel safe. It's not safe. Like you and I should turn around. Why that happens is it's a biological response. We have vision, we have sight, we have smell. All of our senses trigger off a brain stimuli that says not safe, exit. And it's accurate about 99.9% of the time. In our business, our eyes, our hands, our smell is not integrated into the business. Right. So when we say, oh, this isn't safe, it's not our senses saying that. It's just a general feeling. Yeah. What you need to do is look at the data. The data does not lie. And when I say, I think customers that do 1 million in revenue at home and are single parents, those are my best customers. No, it's not. Look at your data, and your data may say, oh, no, it's actually married couples that got married at age 25 that are still living with one of the set of parents. Like, you've got to look at the data and then trust in that. Your instinct is great for personal relationships. It's not great for management of the business. Never forgo the data.
You know, something that I talk about is you say data doesn't lie. I say numbers don't lie.
Yeah,
numbers
right.
never lie, right? Like and it's so true because a lot of the time our gut is actually like, we do a lot of neuroscience in our work, and because your brain is focused on self-preservation, right. It's actually going to, anything it's afraid of it in your business, it'll cause you to make decisions according to those fears. And then there's like practical things like, let me get practical with this, because some business owners, you know, that when you run ads, let's say you have a return on your ad spend, ROAS of like $2 for every dollar you put into your ads, but you always invest maybe $3,000 a month into ads. And you know, the numbers say that for every $3,000 you put in, you get $6,000 out of the business, which means what you should be doing is testing, because it's not always linear, but testing, increasing your ad spend so that you can see, okay, where does the ROAS and the return on investment start to actually whittle down? But you find a lot of business owners that have that kind of data, and just the thought of spending more than what they did previously in their marketing budget on that. Why is this example so specific, guys? Because this was me. I am she is she is me. This is me. It's a little bit specific, but I remember where I was like, I just don't know about giving my money to Facebook in this way, because I just don't know if it's going to work. And I remember my husband just being like, Toyin, he's just like, it's numbers. You put this much in, you get this much out. Why are you not testing to see how much can we keep putting into this? Like, why are you hesitating to expand when it's right in front of you? And it's the gut feeling. And sometimes the gut feeling will serve you, but I love this awareness that sometimes that gut feeling is just trying to keep you comfortable.
There's a behavioral tendency called the primacy effect. And the primacy effect is, it's human nature for us to put more significance in what's happening in the moment than the long term. There's a deli down the street from me, and I went there a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, how's business going? And he's like, it's not good. We're really struggling. I went there this morning. I said, how's business? He's like, it's amazing. I'm like, what's happened the last 2 weeks? Like, he goes, oh, well, Super Bowl's coming. There's lots of orders coming in. I'm like, oh, so in 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, business is going to be miserable again. We go on this mental roller coaster of whatever we're feeling in the moment, think that's the perpetual experience.
That's business. Yes.
That's why we gotta look at the data, and the data will kind of normalize that and say, oh, yeah, maybe in today there was no deposits, but on the average, we're actually trending better or worse.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, man. Mike, this has been powerful. Powerful. I am so grateful for you joining and having this conversation. I love how you keep it real. I love your books. Is there any way that people can contact you? They can learn more about you. I want to make sure that they can get their hands on this book that is coming out.
Sure. And thanks for all the kind words in the chat. I'll give you the shortcut. And here's another tip with it too. My name is Mike Michalowicz, and the website's MikeMichalowicz.com. No one can spell Michalowicz. My wife still struggles with it. So here's the tip. Whatever your nickname was in grade school, as long as it's PG rated, use that as your domain. So mine's Mike Motorbike. I've never driven a motorcycle. I have no interest in motorcycles, but my nickname, the only safe nickname I had, was Mike Motorbike. So if you go to MikeMotorbike.com, I got my books are there. You can actually get free chapter downloads. I used to write for the Wall Street Journal for many years, the small business column. You can get that too, all for free at MikeMotorbike.com.
Come on. So y'all already know what to do. Go find Mike at MikeMotorbike.com. It's already in the chat. People are just I love this. I love this room. People saying thank you. This was a power hour. I could not write fast enough. Mind blowing. Yes, so good. Thank you, Mike, and other complicated last names as well. The sound is she said, followed him on Instagram as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so they're saying what we're feeling. We're very grateful for you. We're very grateful for your time. And I'm especially grateful that you did make that decision to codify. I don't know how people say it, codify your learnings in your books, because one of the things I love to tell everybody is the things that you write in a book impact so many more people than you could ever imagine. And the only way, like, I did not know about Mike. Before I read his books, I wouldn't have just run into him. But it's the books and putting it down on paper that makes it accessible to millions of people. And so I just want to encourage y'all to make sure that you are finding different ways to get what you've been gifted and what you have learned and the lessons out to everybody else. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Toyin.
Man, Mike dropped so many truth nuggets in today's episode. I am so honored that he was willing to join the conversation and share a piece of the way he thinks with us. You definitely want to head over to his website, mikemotorbike.com, and grab all the things, y'all, all the things. That's it for today's episode. I already know, okay, that you are walking away with things that you can take action on. How do I know this? Because literally between the time we ended the episode and I recorded the outro, this portion right here, people in our Limitless Life Lab have already completed their lifeline exercise that he talked about and sent it into the community. That's how fast we take action out here. Okay, we don't play. Now, before you go, y'all already know what to do. Hit subscribe to the podcast if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you are listening so that you never miss an episode. Number 2, hit that like button, okay? If you got any value out of this episode, which I know you did. Don't lie. I know you did. Also, leave a review because your feedback actually helps us to reach more game changers just like you. But most importantly, share this episode with someone that you want to win in life and in business. Now, if you want to take it a bit further, you can actually join us in the Limitless Life Lab. Not only are you going to get access to this level of life-changing training and coaching, but you also have the chance to ask these world-class leaders your own questions live. And here's the best part. It is less than $10 a month. Yes, you get access to life-changing training for less than the cost of 2 cups of coffee. Okay, visit mylimitlesslife.ca to join the conversation. We would love to be a part of your transformation. I will see you next time on Mastery Live with Self Mastery Academy. Peace. Hey millionaires, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me right here. Click on that. And if you want to have a free financial breakthrough session with my team, then you can go on ahead and click on the button right here or visit moneymindsetShift.ca/call. I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.